Hello, hi, welcome. Have I been putting off this announcement video? Possibly. Okay, so here's what we're doing today. If you're new here, then hi, I'm Shelly. And this is a little bit outside of my wheelhouse, but I'm hosting GarbAugust, which is the mastermind, the event by the brilliant CriminOlly. And here's Olly's deal, and all of us hosts. Olly doesn't take his reading seriously. He is not I'm sure that he would even say it himself, that he is not somebody who's, going out there trying to find the through line of literature, reading classics from the ancients to present day. Olly is the representation of fun. He is all about not taking reading too seriously, and he reads what I think some people, although I would not, what some people would call trash, okay? So he came up with last year, which I hosted last year, he came up with this brilliant idea to read trash in August. And, he asked me to host last year, and I said yes. I have made the executive decision that I'm not going to read off everybody's pseudonames. Everybody has a nickname. There are like a million hosts, and I'm one of them. And my nickname is Shall We Swing Again, because I like to take my kids to the park and push them on swings, okay? And if you are thinking something dirty, you're probably right. But, I don't think any amount of subscribers would get me to say that list, because I am not a prude. I just have standards, okay? And my standards are, there are some things I morally cannot say, that some of the host names I morally cannot say, okay? But I will leave Olly's announcement video linked down below. Okay, so if you're here for I need to get my notes, which are on my cell phone, so I will be right back. So last year for GarbAugust, I read fan fiction. I read Harry Potter fan fiction, and it was fun. It really was. It was bad. It was real bad at times. The formatting, woo! Oh, I am a librarian by trade. I know about formatting. I am fastidious about that kind of thing. I love rules. And wow, the formatting of fan fiction, it has left a lot to be desired. I mean, it was wretched, but the actual fan fiction writing was fun. And anyways, so that was last year. And you're probably wondering, Shelly, why would you put yourself through this again? You are not one to read trash. Yes, I know. There was a lot of discussion about the philosophy of, there was a philosophical side to last year's GarbAugust of what is trash, and what makes trash, and so on. This year, I think I'm not going to even dive into the philosophy. I'm just going to say that I'm going to be trash light. This is trash light. I'm not, I wouldn't ever even call anything trash. I mean, maybe I would, but right now I'm just read what you want to read. There's no such thing as guilty pleasure. As somebody who's easily embarrassed, I'm sure there are things that I just wouldn't want to be seen reading in public. I wouldn't want anybody to know that I'm reading this in public. I wouldn't want to be in public caught reading some of these things, that kind of thing. But, for the most part, I own my reading. Anyway, so this is Trash Light. There are many hosts, for which I am not one of them, but there are many hosts that are taking their trash super seriously. I'm going to leave all of the hosts linked down below. I would encourage you to check out their channels. If you are yes, I want some trash in my life, I want to do this, then there are people who are going to be taking this a lot more seriously than me. Why am I doing it? I'm doing it because I think that there can be an underlining snobbishness to reading. I found that there is often this, here we are getting into the philosophy a tiny bit. We're going to go there a little bit. When I tell people that I'm a reader, when I tell people that I read quite a bit, there are a lot of people that say, that's so good. You're so good. That's so good for you. Or that's so good of you. Like, oh, how good. There's like the word good attached to being a reader sometimes. And I think that it somehow lends itself to like the moral high ground. Like, I am a good person if I am a reader. And I think that, and Ted, my husband, reminds me of this all of the time, but you can be like a huge reader and read all in one genre, never want to push yourself, like you're just reading for entertainment. And when I think it really hit home when I was working at the library about a decade ago, or so. Has it been that long? Jeez, it's been that long. Okay, I'm getting up there, y'all. I'm getting up there. But like there were readers, actually most readers, quite a few, read only one genre, one author, like, they were the James Patterson reader. And when they came in, they wanted to read books because they had exhausted his collection. They wanted to read books that were like James Patterson. There were people, wonderful, lovely, incredible patrons that would come in and want to read only a certain kind of romance that were all about the bodice rippers, bodice ripping romances, historical romances. There were a lot of readers out there. I mean, I think on BookTube we see that represented quite a bit in fantasy, like epic fantasy. So reading, you can kind of get, reading is there for entertainment. Reading is there for fun. And then there's me. And sometimes I think that I can take myself quite seriously as a reader, that I forget that it's for fun, that I just want to push the task forward of reading all of the classics, or I can get kind of serious about my reading, and I forget that it's here for fun. I mean, the books themselves remind me that reading is for fun, but I forget that reading is this. Sometimes I can forget and get sort of serious about the fact that reading is for pure entertainment and it's super fun. And so I am here hosting wow, you're getting this rambly video all about GarbAugust, and I haven't even really, gone into the thing. Anyway, the reason I'm here hosting GarbAugust, for me, it's like light trash, like subtitled light trash, is to remind me that reading is super fun, and to get me to read books that are super fun, that I have sitting that are languishing on my shelves and getting pushed aside for more serious reads. So, if that sounds good to you, I would encourage you to join us in GarbAugust. Pick up some things that are trash, although, I sort of use that word hesitantly, and join in on the fun. So here we go. We have the prompts. So we have themed weeks for GarbAugust, and we also have a bingo board. And I thought I would sort of brainstorm and pull things off my shelves that might fit for my version of GarbAugust. The weeks are, the first week being category romance or men's adventure. Category romance, I think I'm gonna leave some resources down below because I am no expert on trash, but I'm very certain that Sarah from the Bookish Knitter, who's one of our hosts, and Steve Donohue have a channel about category romance, and they do a great job defining what it is, and so on and so forth. The next weeks are Paperbacks from Hell or Vintage Smut. That's week 2. Week 3 is Novelisations, which is novels based off a TV show. So like the Star Trek books is a great example, or books or books by famous people. That's week 3. And then the last week, the last 10 days of the month, is actually anything goes. Literally anything. Did I say week 2 is Paperbacks from Hell or Vintage Smut? Did I say that? I don't know if I did. Week 2 is Paperbacks from Hell or Vintage Smut, and then week 3 is Novelisations or books by famous people. And week 4, or the last 10 days of the month, are going to be anything goes. Literally anything. So, and then we also have a bingo board. So I am going to actually I'm gonna look through my shelves. Oh, I wanted to say the bingo board has Pax from Pax Panic, who was one of our hosts last year and who passed recently, which really you know, it gets me. Like anybody in our community, especially somebody as enthusiastic and as joyful as Pax, passing is a tragedy. It's a tragedy. It's terrible. And so anyways, she's at the center of our bingo board. And we're honoring her by saying that if you want to, you know, be able to get her bingo marks checked off, you read something that she read last year. So, but with the bingo board, I'm actually going to be brainstorming. I'm going to be brainstorming what I might want to read, and this will be my ideas based off of what I have on my shelves for GarbAugust. All right, I have a handful of books. This is interesting. So a book turned into a TV miniseries in the 70s or 80s. Well, wouldn't that be Lonesome Dove? Wasn't this book turned into a miniseries in the 80s? Or actual television show? It might have been a miniseries. I don't know, but this is not trash. But according to the bingo board, you could read this and it could perhaps count for GarbAugust. Although it won a major award, like literary award, it won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction, so I doubt that this would even count. But you know, it's like based on the bingo board, could cheat a little bit, read Lonesome Dove. Let's think. Another one was a book with an exclamation point in the title, Absalom, Absalom by William Faulkner. In this version, there is an exclamation point. There's an exclamation point in the title. But again, I don't read Faulkner. I'm not going to be reading this. But he, you know, if you're like, I want to participate, but I want to cheat, here's this. This is not a category romance, but it is the one romance book that I do own, and it is Cold-Hearted Rake by Lisa Kleypas. I think that often genre fiction, like romance, is looked down upon by serious readers, and so I do think that some people would think that this was trash. I do have a book based off of a television show, Star Trek, to say the least. I mean, maybe I'll flip through this, but I do watch some Star Trek, but I'm not like a huge fan. Usually it's on because Ted puts it on, my husband. And so this is technically his book, but it does count. It's the Klingon Dictionary. So yeah, we have Star Trek represented right here. So novelization, but it's not even a novelization. It's like how to speak Klingon. If you're into made-up languages. A book by a celebrity, although I've heard this is like a really, really, really good book, so I don't know if I would call this trash, you know, but anyways, Trevor, this is like me, this is why it's trash light, but it's Trevor Noah, Born a Crime, and it's about his growing up in South Africa, but I've heard this is incredible, it's an incredible memoir. If we're talking about books based on television shows, I know there's supposed to be novels based on television shows, but, you know, I don't think most people would want to read this unless you're a huge fan of the television show Gilmore Girls, because I have the Gilmore Girls Companion, which I've never read, and though it's not a novel, I would read a Gilmore Girls novel, by the way. I would. If somebody out there was writing a series about, I could rewrite some of... I have so many opinions about Gilmore Girls. But anyways, you know, there's this. Not a novel, but a companion guide to Gilmore Girls, which I own and I've never read. And so, you know, some people may say that like reading up on a television show that has been off the air for years and years is trash, not worth your time, but it could be a lot of fun. And then, I know it said vintage smut, but can we just say literary smut? He's always trying to creep into my videos. Literary smut-wise, give me your literary smut recommendations down below. I would love to read that. And that would be Hausfrau. I heard this is a very smutty book. And then as far as these are just some of the ideas that I had based on the bingo board. I will try and link the bingo board down below. But yeah, these are some of my ideas based off of the bingo board. I also was like a weirdly specific subgenre. And I would say, like, why the book that I'm thinking of that I am curious about, and I've never read it. And I even tried to read it, and I was like, this is not for me. But who knows? Maybe if I just, you know, if I just open myself up to it, could really love it. And the subgenre would be YA smutty fantasy. You know, there's that. YA smutty fantasy. And the book that I'm thinking of is Sarah J. Maas's The Court of Thorn and Roses. Because I heard it's smutty. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. Thanks for going on this journey with me. It's been really quite a bit of fun. I've really enjoyed the fact that I could think through this with you all and pick out some books that I might read, you know, for GarbAugust. Who knows? I do think that often, you know, sometimes genre fiction gets the boot, meaning like a specific, like within its genre type of fiction, not literary in any way. Like people look down upon Agatha Christie. No, I don't. I know that other people do. Like even though she like basically pushed a whole genre forward, I know some people can be like, well, she was just a mystery writer, which I think is not okay. And I have a whole bunch of like Agatha Christie mysteries here beside me. But you know, it's kind of interesting the way that people think of trash, like serious readers, those who only read the ancient classics, you know, might think of somebody like Agatha Christie as, you know, not highbrow enough. So yeah, but anyways, join me for GarbAugust, Trash Light, as I like to say. I really, you know, that would be great. Otherwise, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.